for version 1 that's going to, again, create a lot of doubt as to whether there has been a take in this position, whether they've set anything up. But just going for the challenge and just collecting the orb, farming this orb so far. And the U-Haul setup for version 1 is what they're going to rely on. But they're starting to wonder, because there's been so much delay after that initial pressure, that they want to get the information to get the bodies in the right places, and it may fall off. Oh, they're actually going to burst straight through the TP here, Holdy. Oh no, it's looking disastrous.
The stim beacon on Tig's feet, allowing him to make that Spectre look like almost LMG rate of fire right there for a moment. A good double coming through. The spike gets planted over at A. And the defensive gamble, quite literally, to make a play through the teleporter has not really paid out. Only the single elimination onto Tig for the initial trade. Penny does at least find an SMG to try to work with, but this will be a position that likely will be covered by a multitude of different now post-plant defenders for Luminosity. First point of contact coming forward should be Moose, unless Penny just wants to hold the corner and play for exits, which it looks like he very well may. There's the check. The run and gun for Mata will clean things up, and a really solid anti-eco coming out of LG.
It's so funny because there's such a gamble that's like, man, I'm gonna make the poker analogy.
Do it.
For
Go.
those poker players out there. That's like being, I don't know, 2-7 off under the gun, and you just shove all in. It's
Yeah,
like
exactly.
you have no information, you have no idea what's going on. You're just going to try to get lucky there, and that's I mean, it was entertaining, but it does get us quickly into the third round here. The 4 Spectres are on board for Luminosity, of course. The bonus, we'll see how they decide to try to close the distance here. Got a lot of emphasis on this B setup from version 1 as well, so they're looking prepared to prevent the take here, but Gonzalez stay alive here.
Oh, great paint shell trying to push out Celsius, but holding the ground with a little crossfire setup with Xander is brilliantly done. And you thought for a moment that Mata was going to do enough with the boombot coming through initially, getting the initial fire out of Xander, knowing that he's going to be playing close towards the boxes, but the paint shells do not do the job as guided towards Celsius playing in that back corner. So a great hold from V1 early, now putting a ton of pressure on the Luminosity for this 3v5. It would take some massive heroics to even find a plant, let alone the round win.
Yeah, we need to see that Headhunter connecting. Oh, good precision though from Whippy at the backside. Too many players on the defense in version 1 are going to collect themselves a Prime Gaming flawless. And against the bonus, of course, but yeah, looking quite good for version 1 as we see them up against the full rifle buy. And I'm curious now that we kind of get into what should look like more normal territory in terms of the defaulting, how the game plan is going to unfold from the side of Luminosity.
I think you're going to be most curious about this continual LG look towards Hookah, and then defensively, we really haven't seen version 1 go through this toxic screen that they continue to place at A. So, at least to my attention, that's kind of the 2 main focus points that I'm curious to see how both teams want to kind of feel each other out and adjust towards. And we're getting already kind of an answer, at least for V1, over at least to the A side of things, as they will use Whippy to push in towards this toxic screen. But LG, other minds in play here as they're looking to get aggressive right down the middle, and there's no one here defensively to deal with this. This will separate V1 pretty considerably.
I love this though for the retake setup. You've got just that showers control that turns into a position that version 1 can use for retaking. And U-Haul's was under control. Of course, it's actually now being walled. And it's just a full setup on the spike itself and short. So we'll see if that's going to be a problem. Luminosity looking good on this defense so far. Mata is stuck here by himself. There's no assistance. There's players from 3 different angles. There's nothing that Mata can do about that. And now they're all stuck in short behind all this util. And there's a lot left to go with on this retake. Right now, Luminosity in a lot of trouble. Is trying to hold on to this one. Orbital strike to further delay things. But it's still looking quite sketchy here. 3 versus 3. The time's still ticking. The pressure coming in. And Whippy's found an opening. Found his way around the back. But has to get the first. But there's no bullets. And Penny's nowhere to be seen. Oh, wow. Luminosity will hold.
That was so good from LG for so many different reasons initially, because version 1 pushing over towards the A side and showers means that you have to be somewhat cautious if there's going to be a flank, maybe pulling around to the backside of that post plant, but it never truly comes through. Version 1's trying to overwhelm just by the default setup where the poison cloud had been placed from Whippy. They try to push back through main. The biggest problem was Xander didn't just have the orbital strike, he also had the molly itself, try to block off potentially a sneak diffuse coming through. So even though version 1 gave it one heck of a go, go. Really, for LG, the win condition was always there. There was never any significant progress being put together on the defuse of the spike itself. And that delay of time, as you called for the orbital strike, was obviously a huge cause for that factor, but also just holding on to good positions backside towards the market with things like a molly coming through, with the pre-fire double setup with the high-low on the boxes. It just became too difficult for version 1 with all of the chaos that came through by sky smokes, poison clouds. There was never really good clearance that could come out just because of that little literal smoke screen that was kind of covering the post plant of LG. Good stuff for them as they go up 3-1.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing what version 1 do with some of these defensive setups. I liked the two-player showers setup there that allows them to play for control early, but also allow them to retake should they lose short control and U-Haul control like they opted to do. But it's up to Luminosity to keep mixing things up here, win that battle of the minds. In terms of the calling, the pacing, the emphasis behind the early pressure on the default. And we're going to get, once again, actually, that showers pressure from version 1, but also they're going to get some information towards B long. So being proactive. Oh, I love this. This Brim Smoke here is really problematic in terms of it's very cheap, but it's given a lot of control here for version 1 on showers.
It also allows the Toxic Screen to be used in a very different way defensively for V1, who will also reinforce the B site by way of the Snake Pit or the Viper's Pit as well. So this actually kind of provides some interesting dynamics as far as what LG want to do to get their first bit of, okay, now we have to be the ones to clear off space, because really the play through Hookah is by no means safe. I mean, the wall will block off both sides, where you're going to be feeling like you're coming into that with a 50-50 guess. And then even if you do get Hookah control, how do you deal with the Viper's Pit lurking in front of Hookah in the first place? So this is going to be difficult, I think, from LG as far as how exactly do you want to break up this defensive setup from V1.
Oh, and I love the back and forth there on showers. This is programming around that goes to the last seconds here, because you can see Luminosity are really struggling to gain space across the map. You highlighted quite well just the utility usage of version 1 and how that's making life difficult. But yeah, there's 30 seconds left. Version 1 still with 3 players towards the safe site. They've lost that showers control. The drone is coming through showers as well from Luminosity, looking to clear the site. Now the intention should be somewhat clear. There comes the Hunter's Fury. Again, not much time here. They really need to make this work. B-Dog creeping forward there. Knows there's one pocket. Penny around the corner. He's going to lose that battle. B-Dog doing excellent amounts of work here, clearing out the site. Very little time still. This is going to be very difficult for B-Dog, all on the lonesome, and there's no one to cover this plant. How does he get this one down? No. All sides seem covered right now. Going for the fake. Has to clear one side. There's no time. Version 1 outlasts Luminosity in this round.
You used the word that I actually had in the top of my mind as well. It's outlasting, because how LG break apart that site is actually very well done. You sky smoke out what you get information off of the Aldrin, which is a player lurking over towards those mid boxes on the A site itself. Then you throw the Hunter's Fury to try to clear out and put some pressure on towards U-Haul. The one thing that LG never really got good clearance of was the player holding close on towards Cubby, and that I believe was Penny, who was able to turn that into not just one elimination, but also I believe the assist that's tallied. So it just comes down to the simple fact that V1 still had a lot of tools remaining, and you mentioned it was this very cheap utility being used at the beginning of the round to get them free space defensively. So it was a lot to ask for LG to clear. I thought they set themselves up in a good spot to try to break down that setup, but it just came down to the simple fact that V1 had already killed off so much time, and they still had so much counter utility of their own to stop that execute. Brilliant stuff, and now LG put themselves on an eco, which, to be fair, they've been good on eco rounds in this map, but version 1 is one of the best teams in North America when it comes to playing from an eco advantage. So a difficult task to try to find a thrifty here from the offensive side.
Version 1 playing very passive this time around. The drone looking to confirm some information. It's going to spot the tour de force. Xander certainly expectant of a burst here as soon as that smoke goes away, so the reposition comes in, and the Viper's toxic screen goes up as well to cover the retreat. So nice reaction slowly here by version 1 so far. Knowing, I think, at this point, what's going on, they're also pulling across Celsius to help the defense on B. And it's going to be forced in. Again, it's just frenzies.
Yeah.
And we'll have to see if they can get anything. Oh, it's a beautiful show of marksmanship from Xander there on the cubby position.
It's unfortunate. I mean, it's as soon as LG want to hit the go call, there was already a recon bolt going right on into Hookah. So it's just, they get essentially almost full-on information, does version 1 defensively, that this hit is not only coming, but how many players are on the way. And then Xander playing in this cubby just holds tight, knowing that he's in a clutch-up position with so much utility blanketing his spot. Yeah, that plus of obviously the paint shells softening up this play through Hookah was just pretty much it was almost too unfair. I mean, granted, the weapons themselves were obviously very favorable for version 1, but the setup as well from version 1, just getting the information before the hit comes out, and that was a very easy read from version 1 overall defensively.
Oh, a short aggression coming through here from version 1, mixing up things quite a lot. They haven't done this really all that often, but of course Penny on the operator has that dash as well to really make these plays safe. And that's a lot of information too. We've got the default, coming through right now from Luminosity, but this short push from version 1 really is the wild card because Celsius is making his way forward, and this is at a timing that is going to likely be a big problem here for Luminosity. Moves into the angle. Goodbye to the Sage. And Celsius, oh my god, he's got a freebie as well.
Yeah, and Whippy is going to be on the backside of this. They absolutely know that this is going to be not just one, but likely a second player inside. That was why the paint shells come out. B-Dog will be chipped at, but not much coming through, so it's eventually the combination of the Boombot and the Showstopper. It might feel like an overinvestment, I think, to some, but these are rounds that version 1 would love to really put the punish onto LG. So now it's desperation time. Last two players from LG do successfully trade their way into B, so hold on a second. Tig finds himself in a 1v3 where he will get the spike down successfully.
To push the smoke. Pretty smart. Needs to win some of these 1v1s. Oh, actually taking position, and they may not expect this. I think they feel like it's cleared, but never mind. Penny's over the top with the updraft, and it's all okay for version 1. And yeah, great. So this was just a great read as well as to how Luminosity have been setting up their default, because they have been quite dry on that short A position, and because of the jet dash, you can make those plays for free essentially. And now Luminosity might have to reconsider how they approach their defaults in some of the following rounds.
I gotta go back to this moment here from Celsius. The reason that I said that these rounds are so crucially important, LG's success on this map in the past, granted of course it was on a different patch, have largely come by way of winning the full versus full rounds. They're 12-6 on bind when they're in a full buy themselves, playing up against the full buy of their opponents. It's one of the best statistics that they carry on bind overall. So version 1 putting a lot of punish on the economy now of LG, turns it into a 4v3. B-Dog with the rendezvous set up in an early peak, also taken down. It's a clean first blood, and version 1 said that's enough for us. Let's just try to make sure we get back and hold this site because the hit is still coming through, but it's not all that clean from LG. They tried to catch version 1 off guard, and they're just unsuccessfully able to find the kills they need.
So the 4 versus 2 now, and some extra damage would be lovely for Luminosity to find. Keep the economy as honest as they can, charge up the ultimate orbs and so on. Drone coming through to see whether there was a rotation. And looking for the swings here, and there's another chance there for Moose, but at least we'll be finding one extra kill. Dazzle actually with the spike is gonna get a spike planted by the looks of things. Oh wow, Penny's pulled off of A completely, and they are giving this BA site.
This is fine for LG, and Dazzle actually thinks maybe there's an opportunity for me to catch off one more elimination before I go for the plant, just due to the timing of this, but second guess is the choice. He would have been correct, but the discipline from Penny off the operator was never going to be a blind peek in without help. So 1v3 setup, Dazzle working alongside some utilities, but the shorty around the corner will get the final shot in. Penny's so dangerous in a multitude of ways, but so far in the last two, he's really showcased that, hey, this shorty's still pretty good, by the way.
Yeah, and I think, it's a smart choice to go and take the Spectre into U-Haul. You want to play those close ranges, but ultimately wasn't meant to be. 5-3 is the score in favor of version 1 at the moment, and it feels like they've gotten a good beat in terms of how Luminosity are approaching the pace, and also how where the pressure is coming, where the openings are in their attacking default. So looking, really impressive from version 1, especially considering the starts looked a little difficult, but stabilizing effectively right now. And looks like Luminosity are going to take a timeout.
The question here for LG, I think Dust had brought this up very, very nicely onto the desk, is that, obviously we've gotten a pretty big agent meta swap when it comes to a number of maps, but especially bind with the recent adjustments to the characters at large, but both teams running flashless comps. And it was also Sideshow that brought up, like, LG's setup defensively with this comp you think is going to be very strong, but what do you do offensively here to get you on what has historically been your better half on the attacking side? And I'm kind of looking at the guy at the bottom of the list. I know it's easy to do because he's just 1-6, but we really haven't seen a lot of clearance out of Dazzle in particular with this Sova yet. A lot of it has just been kind of this battle between the Sky Smokes and Mata kind of trying to run on in. So I'm curious, I think, to see if there's going to be something in the works here for LG to try to get this Sova a little bit more safety, because even in that last round, Dazzle still had an Aldrin and both shock darts available. Now, granted, it's not a round you expect him to win, but we're really not getting the utility information that you come to expect from Dazzle so far in this matchup.
Yeah, and we can talk more also about the arguments for a flashless comp on a map like this, but
sure.
We've got the short B pressure coming in as per the usual here from LG, but there's more behind it. It looks actually like a setup for the B split, but it looks like a fight as well. It is ready to be taken here. Penny on the angle. Oh, great shot! And finds the dash up draft out. Celsius not quite as lucky, but managing to weather the orbital strike there.
It's the single kill makes that play for Hookah not just super expensive, but it makes it completely unsuccessful. LG have no clearance, and now all of a sudden you've got Effys who's just blindly guessing on this Hunter's Fury to connect onto Tig. So it's great news here for V1 when it comes to the efficiency margins. It's the first really solid look for LG aggressively over towards this B site, and they're going to continue with that. Orbital Strike being queued up for version 1 now defensively, as they know that there's going to be players hunting down over towards Garden. That will once again delay and largely just completely kill any hope of LG getting onto this B site.
Yeah, that orbital strike just blew the timing up completely. No way past it. Just stuck. Very difficult for Moose. Will get taken down. Nice triple kill there from Effys, and a lot of cool stuff there. You know, I also like the small detailing, thanks to the observers for catching it, of the swap of the operator between Penny and Celsius due to reasons of health.
This is such a big pick, dude. I mean, look at the trust from Penny in the first place, saying, yeah, I'm just going to sit here and soak up this boom bot real quick, and then to be able to hit the shot on the knee through the wall. It's just great news all the way through. It's just unbelievable stuff from version 1. This is why they've been so good, Dan. It's just anytime they get a read, okay, this is where the hit's coming from, their counter utility defensively is among the best in Valorant right now, let alone North America itself. Unreal.
Oh, nice shot. The Guardian, no less, from Moose. Yeah, Penny mixing up the positions, trying to really put that presence on the map with that operator, make you fear all of these peaks, make you have to invest in every peak more than you'd like to. But hey, the Guardian does the trick for Moose, and that's a 5v4 advantage here for the attackers in Luminosity. Will be a great round for them to pick up. But the question is, how do they decide to play this advantage? They have a couple players on pistol, 3 players on pistols, so that's not the most ideal scenario. It looks like they want to group up here and go into the A site, and it's definitely going to be harder for version 1 to play off of each other on this A site. So that is 1+.
And Zelsis is still guarding this operator for all intents and purposes. He knows that he's got these guys in a low eco round for LG, so you don't want to give them anything too much. The reveal comes out, Hunter's Fury to flush, and Moose will now not just collect the second elimination, he's also able to find the operator. Effy's quickly trying to get into contest, but there's really not a lot of space to do this in what is a 2v4 situation. Still with 2 members with pistols, mind you, so when it comes to the ability to still rock this, you can go for it. It just comes down to you also have a judge of your own. So it's difficult, I think, in certain margins to get full clearance, knowing that it's largely going to be on the shoulders of Effys, but here comes the commit nonetheless.
Very difficult situation. The Molly will actually keep some of those short players at bay from peeking, but they need to actually get the kills towards Showers. There's a trade at least, but Effys versus 3 at least wants to make this one hurt. Takes down 1 more at the very least. Great round from Luminosity.
Great round.
Given what they started the round with, and that could really turn this thing on its head.
It really, I mean, you hit it on the head when it comes down to Penny's trying to make sure Luminosity never feel comfortable. I'm peeking over towards A main a couple of rounds ago. I'm going to take the scope now over towards Showers itself, and it's just on to Moose. You could argue single-handedly wins that round by not just taking down the operator, but it kind of forces Zelsis to have to hold that corner, knowing that Luminosity is on a light eco. You don't want to just give away that operator for free. Even uses the boom bot to really give us the example of that, and Luminosity just doing a nice job of following up, using their numbers correctly, and getting on into a site where V1 was kind of still in a 2-2 split largely throughout the entirety of that defensive round. So now we're into a key round number 10. Both teams on full buys. Penny still able to afford the operator, but B-Dog's got one of his own. That's a brilliant first blood from LG again, 5v4 early.
Yeah, and this one they will have rifles to try to convert this one. They actually might change how they would want to approach it. Previously, they stacked up together and just burst through short, looking to try to trade the bodies when they had pistols. But now they have full rifles. They're actually looking to do the same off of that early 5v4. The reaction is the same. And you know what? Version 1, it seems like they have guessed that. They've lent one more player towards this A site, leaving just one towards B. Zelsis. Here comes the drone to clear some of these positions. The full utility used to get into the site. And with a good early entry, but Whippy even better with Xander's help as well. And they have cut the push off. The wall going to just create some space. But it's not really panning out whatsoever here for version 1. Oh, sorry, rather, I should say for Luminosity, who are stuck in this position.
30 seconds left.
Dazzle's quite literally stuck. He's stuck behind this barrier, or Zelsis on the corner, though, does get dealt with 1v1. Xander looking for the wide peak, is able to convert his third elimination. In goodness, how things almost turned around for LG just in that final 1v2 because of the individual ability, but it's again, I just go back to version 1. Think about how this setup comes through. LG, they dissect the front side of this A zone, and the Sky Smokes with the Owl Drone, you think, okay, no one's playing on top of the spike, let's get in. And version 1 say, not so fast. The Owl Drone gets deleted, and then as soon as they hear the paint shells come over the top, version 1 commit through both instances of that defensive utility, or pardon me, the offensive utility, and they just flat out outslay LG, who were not expecting version 1 to still be on site. That is brilliant from version 1.
And we'll see if this round opens the same way as the previous one did. A lot of pressure towards the speed side of the map. As Luminosity look for the opening pick, the drone making its way forward. That's actually, one of the reasons you don't necessarily need flashes, if the drone can clear some of those angles for you. Penny, speaking of which, on that deep angle. Good timing though. The Sky Smoke's coming down a lot quicker since the update. The presence is felt here by version 1 towards the speed sites.
And there's really, Zelsis does have the ability to gut check call into a showstopper defensively, but he's trying to play forward. Looking for another little sneaky bit of timing for 3-1's defense. That's a huge tool off the table. And with Mata being able to earn the showstopper of their own, they throw that through, and what in the heavens is that? B-Dog through the Sky Smoke takes down Penny, who I won't call it a lost duel, but it's another moment where the operator coming out of V1 finds nothing.
Yeah, version 1 now in a lot of trouble. Not very much to defend here with Xander. He's just going to have to win the raw gun battles. He's been spotted. Nice shot isolating B-Dog. And he's got the orbital strike now. And looking for the perfect moment to maybe delay things. That could punish the rest of the orbital strike. Is going to come through. And that's the timing to swing out of spawn. It's not quite working out though. Oh my goodness. Xander making it look nice through the wall. But unfortunately, that's all that there is for this round and this half. 7-1 at the end. We'll see if LG have anything in the second half right after this break.
at the blue outline and is like, oh, Tig just showed himself. But I believe version 1 had already moved their eyes over towards the left because no one held that angle, and then Tig just kind of pokes his head through the container, gets the free double. And it's just a solid hold from LG. You deny the lurk, you put some good pressure on the entry points towards B, and it never really feels like version 1 ever has much ground to work with.
And so with that, we're all tied up, 7-7.
Wouldn't you know it?
And looks like we'll get a heavy focus around B short as well as B long for version 1. They know they're playing against the bonus, but that is fantastic. What a start. 5 versus 4 on the bonus. Luminosity certainly feeling good, and Dazzle in response, looking to see if he can get more information. There's some jiggling there, so they surely will start to react here. And there's that utility forced out.
Oh, great play coming out. Rendezvous trying to be channeled. B-Dog taking so much damage, but still gets out of dodge while the rest of the SMGs flat on forward defensively. Whippy, last one left. In a pretty solid spot to at least find a couple of trades, but the ammunition count was just a bit too low. And what a bonus that is from LG. And it's B-Dog again, who is able to find another opening pick, keeping LG's numbers good. And defensively, once you've got numbers, if it's going to feel very difficult to break apart how defensively minded this LG comp is going to be. Version 1 never really had a chance to get back into it after that first pick came through.
Yeah, one cool feature now for Luminosity is that TIG actually has the orbital strike, so that's really awesome for retakes, to even deny plants. You know, it's an extremely powerful ultimate in general, and so that's a pretty big advantage. But we will have the sheriffs out now for version 1 as they're on a save, so I think Luminosity would certainly want to save the orbital strike if they can, and we'll get version 1 starting to gather themselves towards short A for the push behind that toxic screen.
This is a great start from LG's point of view, not just because obviously you win the pistol and your bonus, but this is a team that loves to play from an economical advantage, and B-Dog once again so annoying with his rendezvous. Gets a full read, by the way, on version 1 setup. That calls through the orbital strike. Doesn't really find too much, though. So version 1 with these sky smokes may have an opportunity to try to plant, but what a shock dart that is, right over the top. Doesn't just chunk down the planter, it also finds significant damage on the Zelsis, and version 1 have to back through, and as they do, Moose is here trying to wait for it, but a big pickup from Effie's actually allows version 1 on.
Yeah, but actually the trademark slowing things down just a little bit can make a difference. Spike's going to go down. Nice ping. That's going to give a decent chunk of information. At the same time, we do have Tig making his way on a pretty deep flank, but it's all about the timings on that flank. We'll see what Tig's able to find, because he might be able to get around the back of Penny, which would be a critical pickup. And at the same time, Zelsis is not with the push. Was looking for one of those flankers, so it indeed is going to be a free one for Tig, and that's going to be at the same time Luminosity pushing the site, and everything's collapsing here for version 1. Great shot from Effie's as he spins around. Just Zelsis now from Hookah. With it all to do, it's a good plan for Zelsis. Oh, the trade just in the nick of time from Tig.
But if Zelsis backs up long enough, the paint shells very well could have won the round, and probably do win the round. Getting that second elimination, recharges it back up. Tig was just too quick on the trade, right through the back box. But boy, did version 1 ever give themselves a look to try to make an eco round come through. And now LG up 2 with a couple of ults close to being charged. It makes you kind of wonder if LG are going to maybe try to set up a little bit more aggressively this time through, because so far, a lot of this has just been getting waiting for V1 to make the first move. It's been a lot of what this defense has been from LG so far. And now that you've got B-Dog on an operator, you kind of wonder, do you try to take an aggressive angle, look for something for free with a rendezvous peak? And that seems to be the case towards B long.
Yeah, so version 1 looking for the exec onto the A site, charging up short. They have the Hunter's Fury as well. The Shower's control is there for Luminosity. Can Tig survive, having to back out of that U-Haul position. The Hunter's Fury not connecting with any of the defenders. The Spike will go down, but they don't have any post-plant positions except U-Haul. And with the slow warp there, actually, they are not able to get the Spike planted. They're going to actually go through the TP. They've left a couple players. They're going back to A with that Spike. Luminosity, will they read this? They're starting to rotate, just edge towards the spawn. They're not sure. Penny's still in position. The trade comes through. And it seems like Luminosity are reading this.
Oh, absolutely they are. That first point of contact is everything. You're going to tell me Penny's still on the site? That means the 100% that V1's still coming this direction. Snakebite down for a Whippy with the Poison Cloud behind it as the Spike gets planted. The only defensive member not here is B-Dog. So for version 1, you've got numbers for now, and Xander takes great use of that. 3 kills lining up outside of the truck. And that just very well will be the round. B-Dog, no chance you try to chest this with an operator.
I have to say, though, I do really love the utility, the power of the utility of Chamber on a map like this. I think is so potent, especially the trademarks. Of course, like making it kind of pretty guaranteed that they understood, okay, well, they've hit the TP, but they haven't gone through hookah. And unfortunately, it doesn't really work out for them. And version 1, you know, it's pretty scary. They got so much value off of just charging down shorts after defaulting early on. And now hold that thought for a moment, because B-Dog... Okay, they're going to give up the ghost on that one. I thought they were going to try to commit more to get rid of the operator. But B-Dog also has the tour de force, so... Either way.
Yeah.
It's been a good read so far, I feel like, from version 1 as to where some of the holes are. The short A position seems to be a problem. When that was the case on the other side of things, Luminosity actually started playing a little bit heavier there and actually started pushing that at the early timings.
The interesting thing, though, as we continue to move forward here, is this to see how version 1 are going to generally adjust I would say their first 30 seconds in each round. Because LG, as rooted and statuesque as this defense can be, if you can force out things like a barrier orb early, or even kind of take down some of the sky smokes, or maybe force Mata to have to use some of his utility on the defensive raise, it kind of gives you a natural advantage as far as how you want to execute, which is something that version 1 has always been notoriously great at. The thing about it is, we just haven't ever seen version 1 in this group stage play bind, so we're kind of seeing how they adjust in real time. And this time, seeing the barrier orb down, they actually also forced the owl drone out just by way of breaking through one of those pieces of the barrier orb.
And we actually had the push down short A, like I was mentioning, which now you can see the lean here from LG. They've got 3 players on the B side. They're ready to do this. And is there going to be a call? And it would be desperate. Going through the TP, there's nothing set up towards A here. So version 1, if they go through the TP, which they may decide to do, it's going to be a super big gamble. They're not going to do it. They're going straight into the B side. Will it work out, though? The clearance from that showstopper is going to be halted by Dazzle. And now suddenly it will be a spike plant, but it's looking a little bit scary here for version 1.
Yeah, they had to commit. Everything was used for this execution, so now you're a little bit thin utility-wise on what you're going to do to hold this. Advantage to LG on this retake. Just comes down to, can they use this position with the triple stack through elbow with this long pinch from B-Dog to actually make anything happen on version 1's post-plant defense?
Oh, B-Dog. Great timing on that flank, and there's just not enough bodies to throw this one for version 1. Penny doing all that he can. And it will be another round for Luminosity. Excellent stuff again. You know, I was mentioning this on the first half. You know, the read of the pacing and where the pressure is at what points within an attacking default. If you can read that as the defenders, you can know where you can kind of gamble. Like if I push this key area, let's say short A, knowing that this is a timing when I would see them starting to rotate into this position, or not, or you know that they don't pressure it heavily early on, and so that there is some space for you to get there. That information can tip the round completely, and we saw that just now because as that short push came in, as they read the movement of version 1, they get a full stack on the B side essentially. So it kind of, we saw how difficult that was for V1 at that point.
There was no exit. There was no exit strategy for version 1. As you had mentioned also in that exchange, with Whippy not really playing a lurking role deep in towards A at all, it was just to kind of guard against the potential teleport through the middle of the map, which even that ultimately wasn't successful. There was no second door for version 1 to take. And the biggest part of that whole defense is simply Dazzle getting the kill onto Zelsis while the showstopper's in hand. If Zelsis is able to clear out elbow, that post plan for version 1 is totally different. In fact, it's super advantageous because, yeah, you've got, you know, one player in Whippy holding through hookah, but you can position yourself in elbow or garden the entire way through, no problem. But Dazzle staying alive, shutting down the showstopper, gives you the ability to use that Sovia utility late to retake. And then, as we saw, the B-Dog long flank also finding the kill on the Whippy. It's never bad. So LG, a huge advantage now, 10-8 up, and a difficult economical decision here for version 1.
We might get some short pressure coming through, or I'm curious actually for Luminosity how they're going to decide to open this one. They're going for showers, actually. B-Dog there. Oh, that looks pretty good, but Penny somehow unscathed, but they don't manage to take control of showers. They will be forced away from that. In fact, they're going really fast all together through caverns. This might not be red here. This pacing from Luminosity, rather from version 1 by Luminosity, who now have lost Moose. That's a big problem.
It's a massive problem. You cannot expect that Dazzle is going to be able to do much than play a 1-for-1 spot here at B, but he's trying to take an aggressive angle, and that's going to be the barrel of one, but oh boy. Okay, well, the Aldron's going to see this. Dazzle, good luck! Oh! Apparently luck he has! Finds the double! Mata quickly coming back over, is able to assist, and Dazzle turns his life into 3! How in the world has he done that?
That is insane. Oh my goodness. That was not how that was supposed to go at all. What a heroic move from him. Whippy is in a horrendous position here. Nothing you can do about that. And just, oh, excellent stuff. Again, we had such a big advantage for V1. So when they got spotted around showers, that initial play, they immediately, all of them ran towards B. And that may not look significant, but that was a timing that LG were not reading. They only had Dazzle here in time to defend that, and if not for that double kill and the orbital strike being burned,
yeah,
you know, they are at a timing disadvantage. So really awesome to see that LG managed to turn that one around.
And that's an impressive moment, not just from Dazzle, but think about how much help came through. The orbital strike actually provides a certain wall in between Dazzle and any other follow-up. And then you also had Mata quickly off the backside with a showstopper. So the help from LG, unbelievable, but it all just gets completely overshadowed by Dazzle getting 3 eliminations. Now quickly come version 1. Mata stuck in a corner. That'll be good for at least first blood. Arena the Tig as he gets isolated. Penny wants it, and Penny's going to be able to find timing here as Tig pulls the molly out. So V1 answering back with an aggressive round of their own. Unfortunately, they do lose Penny to a team nade, but the spike should be planted here.
Yeah, Viper's Pit burned as well, so really looking to convert this one. Version 1, only 1 round in this half so far, not finding much success. The spray is so close. Zelsis down, critically low. 4 versus 3 for version 1 on this post plant. And they've got good information on the flanks as well. They had Xander covering that so that they feel, I think, fairly confident in the information. There's a drone here to play against this Viper's Pit. It's certainly going to be used surely towards this pit. In fact, Dazzle's pushing short B. He's going to find...
Unreal.
Oh my goodness. What is going on here? E-Dog now trying to do what he can on the other end of it, but it's just luminosity. It looks so strong with all they had to work with, but somehow, Holdy, it's just not panned out.
No, it has not. It works out for V1 in the weirdest of ways. I mean, it looked like it was all about just Xander's going to be safe back here, because I thought the same thing you did. Dazzle, surely you use this Aldrone to try to clear out this position of the Viper's Pit inside of U-Haul, but no, LG just kind of run into it, find the kills they need from the front, and they take down Xander in the back. But the trade game just a little bit too significant for version 1 on the initial engagement in the first place to get into the numbers. Mark my words, if V1 come away with this map, that round right there could very well mean the difference maker. Not only does it keep you off of 12 from LG, but it also puts you in a great spot financially to get right back into this game.
The chamber set up here on A. Do love what B-Dog's been doing here. So dealing with the drone straight away, of course, gets tagged, forced to rendezvous out of there. Hello! In comes Zelsis flying through the air, and that is an entry into this A site. Holding onto U-Haul for dear life. Luminosity Incendiary will slow things down a little bit, and that will buy time for the rotation, but Spike is planted. LG, they're hard on the retake here of U-Haul. There's a swing as well from version 1. They're not giving it here. B-Dog forced the TP out. Moose hasn't had enough, though, and still goes in. But it's going to come out aces for version 1 so far.
That is so good from version 1. We'll break it down here in a moment as B-Dog considers and then reconsiders if he wanted to go for that. But for version 1, I mean, the molly at the feet for Tig is just to keep his own life and obviously make sure that you don't completely lose U-Haul immediately. But as you had called it, version 1 do not want to go quietly into the night. They say, this is an important position for us. We'll spend the numbers to get there. I mean, you saw it come through with the shock dart immediately afterwards, keeping the pressure onto Tig, and then reading that they get B-Dog completely out of that position. You know that there's only one other defender that could possibly challenge you there. So throw all 3 members offensively into that U-Haul. Keep that position in your favor, and that in itself just essentially guarantees the round, especially knowing that there's really no way B-Dog can use this operator to do much else. So great stuff from version 1, and now LG really do need to think about what's going to happen here in round 22 because their economy has started to get hit pretty hard in the last couple of rounds.
Yeah, it's a tough one. I love that sequence where we see both teams swinging for that position. It's thinking about post plant positioning is always crucial. when you're thinking about your chances to hold on and to delay the retakers or vice versa, to make sure that you can effectively make more use of your utility. Because if they're all stuck in the short position, and one smoke can actually block off a bunch of line of sight from the players defending the spike plants. So
absolutely,
you got to hold on to those forward positions if you can. And we're in a really close game here. Luminosity are doing a fantastic job so far in this half, but a late resurgence from version 1 is quite apparent. I love that we're seeing Xander at the top of the scoreboard with Brim.
Oh, you heard the devs talk about it. They even reading out the shout-outs from Hayes talking about Xander has been one of the biggest pickups in the 2022 year for North American Valorant. He has been unbelievable. And now flexing over to a Brim, he's still finding the value that you came to know on other agents. 13 assists, Dan? Come on. I mean, he's getting so much value out of not just the Sky Smokes, but the placement of the stim beacons have been good. We haven't really talked a lot about that. And of course, you expect the incendiaries to do what they do best. So great stuff from Xander. And we get into a very crucial round here because LG are really kind of stacking their coins on double sniper setups here. Obviously, you see the tour in hand, but Moose also carries the operator. So this is a double scope setup defensively for LG.
No, it's looking to go for the burst here, but they may not expect to see a chamber really close. It's going to be, here comes Marta from the back, just a frenzy, but how much can he get done? Takes out Viper, more damage, and can just delay. The paint shells are all stacked up in this corner. They're going to push him, and he'll get taken down here, but there's a lot of chaos. Version 1 in the chaos. We'll be able to make it a 3v3, trying to change the plan on the fly. Penny beyond the angle, and it looks like that spike will be planted towards that B site. They can't stop it.
But they do collect weapons, Dan. That's the biggest thing here for LG. It's not perfect, but it's good enough to stay competitive in a round where you didn't have much outside of the double scopes in the first place. So now it's 3 rifles. And the big first question is, can you take down Xander and do it cleanly? Oh no, they might not be able to take Xander down at all. Spamming through, has to go to the classic, and he's able to turn that 1 kill into also more damage. Moose gonna self-heal, leaving it to Zelsis in a 1v2.
Very scary stuff. Celsius, no utility remaining. Oh, the wall goes up here. How does Celsius want to play this? Oh no, he's going to have to take some serious risks here. He's creeping up. He's hoping that they're not going to stick this, and it's just been stuck all the way. Celsius, wasn't a lot that he was able to do there. Didn't want to give his position up, and there we go. Match point for Luminosity, 12-10 for them.
And this is, you want to talk about just what we've learned versus what we're going to get here. LG, as mentioned, one of the best teams in North America on bind, playing at an economical advantage, and they carry that coming into round 23. It wasn't a perfect setup in the last round, but as mentioned, they did more than enough. So you've got a orbital strike to use with weapon superiority. A lot to ask on version 1 here, off of just an orbital strike of their own. Dazzle can even push forward to get himself that much closer to a defensive Hunter's Fury. This could be key.
And it goes straight in here. Very fast pace into the B site. No messing around. We'll be training the close angles there to begin with. And orbital strike coming through there straight to elbow.
Dazzle!
Oh my goodness. Dazzle's been caught inside the drone. What a punish. What a punish. That is monumental as they try to make their way forward, but they're actually stuck. This is a very difficult take, holding it down. Brimstone, massive value on Brimstone.
Xander on the back has to take down 2 here. There's no way that Effie does too much from his position. What a response from Mata! Just as the sky smoke dissipates, Effie's for a 1v4. Double stack in the corner, not gonna get the best of Mata. And LG, 13-10, Dan. We weren't sure what to expect with the flawless version 1 coming out, but as the desk mentioned, we have not seen version 1 play bind, and in the new agent meta, LG looked pretty damn